I bet you didn't know Off-White wasn't Virgil Abloh's first brand. It actually was Pyrex, but today let's go over the rise and fall of Off-White. Rest in peace, Virgil Abloh. What's up everyone? Today we're diving into the rise and fall of Off-White, one of the most influential streetwear brands of the last decade, and the legacy of the visionary creator Virgil Abloh.
No one is born with a political stance in mind, or no one is born knowing the intricacies of right and wrong.
We'll explore how Off-White became a global sensation, the immense hype that surrounded it, and how it shifted after Virgil's passing. Plus, let's discuss Louis Vuitton's takeover and the recent sale of the company in late 2024. Let's get into it. Off-White was founded by Virgil Abloh in 2012 after the success of his earlier label, Pyrex. Virgil wasn't just a designer, he was a cultural force. Off-White blended luxury fashion with streetwear in a way that had never been done before, turning everyday items like industrial belts and quotation marks into iconic symbols of the generation. Virgil's background as an architect, DJ, and creative director gave him a unique perspective that he applied to everything from sneakers to high fashion, with collaborations from brands like IKEA, Levi's, and Nike. These put Off-White on the map, and it was impossible to ignore the hype around pieces like the Off-White Air Jordan 1s, which instantly became grails in the sneakerhead community. Virgil wasn't just designing clothes, he was designing a culture. His vision spoke to the generation of fashion consumers.
Is this like, if I put this candle in an all-white gallery space, it looks like a piece of art. If I put it on like in a garage, it looks like a piece of trash. You know, like someone would throw it away. It's dented. And I think I often use this analogy in design. I could either design the candle and spend a lot of time like telling you about the candle, or I could just design the room that it sits in.
They wanted meaning, and Off-White delivered that meaning. It's a street culture aesthetic. At its peak, Off-White was everywhere. Celebrities like Kanye West, Rihanna, Travis Scott, and Drake were constantly rocking Off-White pieces. The brand became synonymous with high fashion that meets streetwear, and everyone wanted a piece of it. Off-White's signature branding, the quotation marks, diagonal stripes, and zip ties, turned into a status symbol. Streetwear culture was evolving, and Virgil was right at the center of it. Collaborations with Nike, like the 10 collection, were selling out in seconds and reselling for insane prices. Off-White wasn't just a fashion brand, it was a hype culture, and the hype was real. Virgil took the brand to Paris Fashion Week, collaborating with brands like Louis Vuitton. He became the first black man appointed as the artistic director of Louis Vuitton men's line in 2018, and this cemented Virgil as a pioneer not just in streetwear but in luxury fashion as well. In 2021, the world was shocked by the news of Virgil Abloh passing. After a private battle with cancer, his death left a massive void not just for Off-White but for the entire fashion industry. Virgil was more than just a designer, he was a cultural icon. And without him at the helm, Off-White struggled to maintain the same identity. Off-White still produced collections, but they lacked the innovative energy and cultural relevance that had once made the brand what it was during its peak. At the same time, Virgil's role at Louis Vuitton took center stage. His influence had already made waves at LV, and after his passing, the spotlight shifted back towards the LV collections that inspired the legacy. As Off-White began to fade, Louis Vuitton continued to carry on Virgil's vision. LV pushed forward with the streetwear-inspired luxury Virgil had popularized. They began integrating some of the elements that had once made Off-White so successful into their own collections. In many ways, Louis Vuitton became the spiritual successor of Off-White. Under Virgil's influence, LV was already blending with worlds of the high fashion streetwear. After his death, Louis Vuitton solidified its position as the leadership of a hybrid fashion movement. The sale in 2024. Fast forward to 2024, the news broke that Louis Vuitton's parent company, LVMH, had decided to sell off Off-White. This was a major turning point for the brand. Many speculated that without Virgil's influence, Off-White would eventually transition into more of an everyday brand, losing its exclusive apparel and cultural demand. The sale marks the end of an era. With Louis Vuitton and Nocta, Drake's collaboration with Nike taking over dominant forces in the space, Off-White has become more of a legacy brand, appreciated for its quality that's no longer a forefront at the streetwear culture. The rise and fall of Off-White is a reflection of how quickly fashion can change. Virgil Abloh's impact on the industry is undeniable. He paved a way for new generations of designers. He helped blur the lines between luxury and streetwear. Off-White may no longer be on the powerhouse it once was. Its legacy lives on. Rest in peace, Virgil Abloh. Your influence, your vision, forever changed fashion.
Don't let perception hold you back. Virgil Abloh once said, "I do everything for a 17-year-old version of myself." When I think about that, it hits pretty hard. At 17, I would have never been creating videos like I am here today.
Up to that. But as soon as I got on campus, I said to my friend, my community, I was like, I'm only going to put 50% of my effort into school, quote unquote school, and I'm going to raise my interests up 50% to actively treat them equal. That's when I started DJing. That's why hip hop and music. I was like, that's not low. That's not what I do outside of school. That's what I do. That's what I'm into, skateboarding. And literally to get to where I'm at today, if I hadn't spent so much time on that other 50%, being curious about art and learning things that weren't on my curriculum, I wouldn't sit before you today. There was a farmer's market that my roommate and I were getting, like, we weren't eating fast food. He was like, I want to be a chef. And I was like, you're my roommate, let's do this. So my classroom just kept getting bigger. You know, that's why I travel. That's why I don't see a limit between Paris and Chicago. It's like, I live here, but no, that's not, there's no limit. And I think that young people, I know it's hard, it's lofty goal to be like, don't believe in, abolish the stereotype and don't believe in the box that they put you in. But life is so short that you can't waste even a day subscribing to what someone thinks you can do versus knowing what you can do. And that's like the switch. It's like the switch in your head is if you can get to a place where you can act on that in the next hour after we're done speaking, I guarantee you it's a domino effect. Everything just starts like, sort of like, you know, obliterating itself away. It's this, like I'm designing this candle, right? Or like the student or the classroom is this. Like, if I put this candle in an all-white gallery space, it looks like a piece of art.